In this video, I'm going to talk about moving weights and why I use them and how they apply to agility. So when my dogs are babies, one of the very first things they learn how to do is a moving weight. So a moving weight is different than a stationary weight in how I train it. I train it from the very beginning that my dog's feet are moving. They're moving with me, and then I ask them to wait. And we're just going to do a real quick demo of that. Trip here has been doing moving weights since he was literally about 8 weeks old. So how I initially train it is they walk with me. Walk with me. Wait. Okay. Good boy. Good. Come on. Wait. Okay. Good boy. And obviously he already knows how to do it, so he's anticipating it. But I want them to be moving and then stop and then move. The position is not important to me. What I am looking for, sit. What I am looking for is where they are mentally. I am not looking for an exact position of a sit or a stand or a down. I am looking for, are they mentally trying to wait? This goes into a lot of impulse control work. I want them to show me that they are in their own head and that they are trying to bring themselves into a weight. So after I've taught them their moving weight, and they kind of understand the basics of it, I do bring a toy into play. A toy for most dogs is extremely exciting. It raises their arousal levels. We lose some impulse control because most dogs really want a toy. And I say most dogs because Allie, my other dog, absolutely does not like toys. So this game is very different for her because this game revolves around using food instead of toys. But Trip here loves his ball. So this revolves with him around the ball. Sit. So I'm going to show some advanced stuff of what I do with the moving weights. If anybody would like to kind of have the full breakdown of how I teach it and how we go through all the steps, if you go to my website at fluidmotionagility.com, I have an online lecture on there that talks about how I teach it from little tiny baby dogs all the way into advanced work. It's got videos of him when he's maybe about 4 months old. I'm doing some extremely advanced moving weight stuff, and it'll kind of give you an idea of how I go through all the steps. So what I'm going to look for, usually I throw this, but I don't want to throw it on camera just because I don't want any wild throws and it goes off that way. What I'm looking for when I'm doing this game with him is to teach him impulse control and to teach him to kind of listen to me. He really wants his ball, but he's going to get it, but he needs to go through a few steps to get there, right? So I'm going to just release him once to his ball and just let him have a run at it. He's going to bring it back, and then we're going to go ahead and do it again. Trip. Go away. Yeah. The reason I use his name is because I play this with all the dogs together quite a bit. And so if I were to just say, okay, I'm going to have a herd going for the toy. So I say their names as a release for this game strictly because I do use it with multiple dogs. Come. Sit. Wait. So now this time, buddy, sit. So now this time I'm going to release him. I'm going to stop him halfway. I'm going to ask for a couple of behaviors, and then I'm going to release to his toy. Trip. Wait. Sit. Sit. Yes. Down. Sit. Yes. Trip. As a good boy. Yeah. As a good boy. Come here. Let me sit. Drop. Drop. Yes. Sit. Good. So what I'm looking for with him is just that. He has extremely nice impulse control. He's in his own head. He really wants this toy, but I can get him to give me some behaviors before he goes and gets this toy. So how does this relate to agility? If I start teaching them from young puppies, here's this extremely high arousal toy. They really want this. It gets them really excited. They want to run. They want to chase it. But in order to get this toy, you need to do a sit, a down, a wait, things like that. When I come out into the agility ring, when I bring this toy out into training, or they get into that arousal state while training, I can use this moving weight to bring them back. So what I would, example of that, back, sit. An example of that would be, I'm working on a jump sequence, and I can tell Trip is starting to lose himself. He is not in his own head anymore, he is losing his impulse control, and we're starting to just run, and his head is completely gone, right? I can then ask him to wait, and stop him in the middle of that jump sequence, ask him to just wait, and let me see him collect himself, let me see him just calm, and then we can release and go back into the jump sequence again. That is how this moving weight relates back to agility. Not to mention that teaching this kind of impulse control with a moving weight like this is great for your start line, it's great for contacts. I do use it on course. Those who have watched some of my videos, especially with Nargles from championships last year, have seen me use it if something goes awry and I need to stop her and reset. I have used it for that. Anything where I need them to stop and collect. He's a great demo dog for the moving weights because he stays extremely composed. He does a very good job. And when he's out on course and you ask him to wait, and you just kind of let him stop, gather himself, and then we can go again. You can see him control himself again and bring that impulse control back just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll do a couple more just to kind of demo it for you. Again, if you want the full breakdown of how to teach this, because this is really in a nutshell. I've had a few people ask to see demos of what I do with the toy and the moving weight. But if you want the full breakdown and really go into some detail of teaching it, and using it out on course, then make sure to go to my website at fluidmotionagility.com and click on online training and then lectures, and there'll be a moving weight lecture in there that you can download that will go through all the way from foundation steps to advanced. So I'm going to go ahead and demo this a couple more times. Everybody, sit, wait. That's a good boy. And we're going to do a little bit harder. This is Jimmy's dog. It's not my dog. Jimmy's trained him since he was this big, all the way to this. And so he's been working on a little bit of more moving weight stuff, so we're going to go ahead and try that and ask him to wait as he returns to me and do some additional behaviors. But man, yeah. Trip, wait, down, sit, yes, trip, wait, drop, sit, drop, sit, yeah, down, get, yeah, no, yeah, that's a good boy, drop, good, sit, wait, I'm going to try to roll it and not let it get out of frame, hopefully, uh-oh, and there it goes.
Okay.
Trip, good, wait, sit, buddy, get back, sit, sit, buddy, sit, good, down, sit, yeah, drop, good boy, come here, sit. So doing this sort of stuff, Jimmy does tons of this in the house with him. It is great when it's snowing outside. I have no access to agility equipment until probably April. This is great stuff to do indoors. Get them doing something mental, a little bit of physical, depending on how much room you have. When they're running back and forth for their toy. It is a great mental activity, and I highly recommend it for anybody. I think every agility dog should have some form of this kind of impulse control work, whether it is for a toy. Allie doesn't like toys, so she does it with food. It's great stuff that translates beautifully out in the ring. If you have any questions, you can post them in the comments below. And like I said, I have more information on my website. And if you have any, If you have any questions, post them in the comments, and I will try to get to them as soon as I can. Thanks.